Members, advisors, and guests, welcome to LeaderCon 2018. This weekend, you will learn to channel your leadership. Your 2018-2019 State Officer Team is here to help you in training. From Lowndes High School, your State Sergeant at Arms, Courtney Raven.
We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky, little Einstein. Climb aboard, get ready to
From Rothschild Leadership Academy, your State Second Vice President, Marcus Mises. Your state reporter from Dunwoody High School, Delvin Darwala.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
Your state first vice president from Woodstock High School, Gregory Carroll. Your state secretary from Lowndes High School, Tate Green.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
From Lowndes High School, your state treasurer, Christopher Bellflowers.
Inertia is a property of matter.
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful.
And from Shiloh High School, your 2018-2019 state president, Imra Khan. Members and advisors, your 2018-2019 Georgia TSA State Officer Team.
Will the meeting please come to order? Madam Sergeant at Arms, are all officers present and in their places?
They are, Madam President.
Please rise.
Okay, so she's gonna sing, they're gonna do the pledge?
Madam Sergeant at Arms, will you please lead the assembly in the pledge to the flag to the United States of America? And please remain standing for the national anthem performed by Jada Hart from Shiloh High School.
All right, sorry, that was not meant to scare me, sorry.
Will the assembly please note that the phrase "one nation under God" is meant to be said without a pause. Turn, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
You may now be seated. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Madam Sergeant at Arms.
Present. So the symbol of my office is the hearty handshake, and it is my responsibility to see that the assembly is comfortable and properly welcomed. It is also my duty to serve as doorkeeper for this organization.
Madam Reporter.
Present. The symbol of my office is the beacon tower, and it is my duty to see that our school, community, and national association have a complete report of our organization's activities.
Madam President.
Present. The symbol of my office is the gavel. The duties vested in me by my office are to preside at all regular and special meetings of this organization and to promote cooperation in carrying out the activities and work of our organization. Mr. Secretary.
Present. The symbol of my office is the pen, and it is my responsibility to keep accurate and proper records of all business and correspondence of this association. Mr. Treasurer.
Present. The symbol of my office is the balanced budget, and it is the duty of my office to keep accurate records of all funds and to see that our financial obligations are met promptly.
Mr. First Vice President. Present. The symbol of my office is the five-pointed star. It is the duty of my office to see we always have a strong membership, a good work program, and are alert to the welfare of our organization. Mr. Second Vice President.
Present. The symbol of my office is the four-pointed star. My office represents the new, high technology of today. It is the duty of my office to assist Mr. First Vice President in maintaining a strong membership.
Madam President, all officers are present and in their places.
Madam Sergeant at Arms, do we have any guests present?
Yes, Madam President, we do. We have a representative here from the Georgia Intellectual Property Alliance. Please welcome Ms. Carol Beckham and Dr. Angelica Domsky, GIP Board Member and Program Leader, K-12 IP Education. They will explain the importance of and how to protect your inventions, designs, and ideas during our leadership sessions on Saturday morning. See your program details and make plans for attending this and other presentations tomorrow. We are also joined this weekend by the state officer team and members of the Academy for Arts, Science, and Technology TSA chapter from South Carolina.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, we are now ready to transact business. Members, advisors, guests, and chaperones, I welcome you all to the 2018 LeaderCon at Jekyll Island. A movie or TV show is incomplete without its essential cast. It is a culmination of the efforts of directors, actors, and videographers. The directors of Georgia TSA are your state officers and the board. Our members are the actors who are the face of our organization. Our conferences serve as videographers, capturing every moment and experience. When each chapter and each student takes on various roles within the delegation, that makes Georgia TSA complete. It makes us prosperous. Our conferences are places to bond and share the new, innovative ideas that our young minds come up with. Here at Jekyll, you will have the amazing opportunity to practice your competitive skills through the Armada boat race and the VEX events. The Statesman exam will give you the chance to showcase what you have learned about our prestigious organization. And most importantly, at this conference, you will have the chance to attend leadership sessions and build upon the traits that make you the future of tomorrow. Georgia TSA, this conference is all about you. It is about your commitment. It is about your success. More importantly, it is about your growth. When I think of Channel Your Leadership, I think of proactiveness, commitment, and delegation. Use this opportunity for your own development as a leader. These conferences are designed for us to reach out to others within the organization. Take your time to network and build friendships and memories with those around you. Georgia TSA, I want all of you to remember one thing for the rest of this conference. This is your chance to grow. The knowledge you gain from this conference and the memories you form will be the key to your success and future. Georgia TSA, it is time for action. It is time to channel your leadership.
The Georgia TSA Board of Directors provide guidance, direction, and support to our state association. These advisors and industry representatives work hard to ensure that Georgia TSA is the best that it can be. As they make their way to the stage, please join me in welcoming our Board of Directors.
Seas had rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own.
When your name is called, please step forward to be recognized. Rob Bell, President, Sandy Creek High School. Rob Garber, President-elect, Ben Hill Middle School. Cammie Lund, Past President, Lowndes High School. Angela Corals, Secretary, Pickens High School. Aaron Parker, Treasurer, Ebenezer Middle School. David Hanks, Corporate Member, Nuclear Regulatory Commission. John Crawford, Corporate Member, Valdosta State University. Nora Swanson, Corporate Member, Southern Company. Camelia Calvert, Parkview High School. Jess Bush, Swainsboro High School. Bubba Gibbs, Fannin County High School. Stephen Griffin, Sims Academy of Innovation and Technology. Scott Petty, Tryon High School. Mbonia Myers, G.W. Carver High School. Greg Gaines, Hart County High School. Karen Zantz, Woodstock High School. Matt Holly, Cook High School. Judy Haggerty, River Ridge High School. Millie Price, Ware County School System. Roger Ivy, Program Specialist, Georgia Department of Education. Steve Price, Georgia TSA Executive Director and State Advisor. Let's give all the members of our Board of Directors one last round of applause.
In addition to the Board of Directors, we'd like to thank many others that made this conference possible. Our advisors provide support and encouragement for their students, and we sincerely appreciate their dedication to our organization. Advisors, please stand to be recognized. None of our conferences will be possible without the support of the parents and chaperones. Will all parents and chaperones please stand? We would also like to show our appreciation for you, the members. Without you, we could not be the Technology Student Association. Will all members please stand to be recognized?
This weekend, you will have the opportunity to develop your skills and be a starring member of this state's cast already today. Some of you have taken advantage of the Electrothon, the Statesman Award, or competed in First Lego League or Vex Robotics. However, that's just the beginning of what LeaderCon has in store. Tonight, we are honored to have Mr. Eddie Slawowski as our guest speaker. Tomorrow morning, advisors and chapter presidents will meet with their peers at breakfast. Also, all of you will have the chance to attend sessions that will upgrade your leadership and technical skills. I hope everyone enjoyed the Armada boat race and cheered for your favorite team or best sinking. I encourage all of you to attend the LeaderCon dance where you can dress up as anything regarding television. This year's LeaderCon is sure to be one that you will never forget. But it is your job as members of Georgia TSA to help make it memorable. So make sure to have fun and enjoy this year's LeaderCon on Jekyll Island.
Be sure to check out First Lego League, Vex Robotics, and Vex IQ competitions throughout the course of this weekend. Since robotics constantly changes and evolves, there is a new challenge given to participants annually. The students then build and design the best possible robot to solve the problem. The Georgia Electrothon is an all-electric vehicle race where students design, build, and drive their own cars. Students are given 1 hour to complete as many laps as possible. Please visit and attend these public sessions of these events in your spare time. Make sure to keep all comments and actions in these events clean, powerful, and positive. We wish the best of luck to all competitors.
The Real World Design Challenge is an annual competition that provides high school students, grades 9 through 12, with the opportunity to work on real-world engineering challenges in a team environment. Each year, student teams will be asked to address a challenge that confronts our nation's leading industries. Students will utilize professional engineering software to develop their solutions and will also generate presentations that convincingly demonstrate the value of their solutions. $50,000 scholarships from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University are provided to the winners of this international competition. The Real World Design Challenge provides students with opportunities to apply lessons in the classroom to technical problems that are being faced in the workplace.
Junior Solo Sprint is an educational program for 5th through 8th grade students with the goal of creating the fastest, most interesting, and best crafted solar vehicle possible. Junior Solo Sprint students use hands-on engineering skills and principles of science and math and develop teamwork, problem-solving skills, and hands-on STEM skills. The 2019 National Junior Solo Sprint competition will be held in conjunction with the National TSA Conference, June 28th to July 2nd, 2019, near Washington, D.C. Please check the website for more information about the local and state level competitions.
The annual Teams competition offers student teams from around the country an opportunity to compete in pre-engineering competitions designed to challenge students by using their knowledge and skills in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. to solve problems related to issues facing our global society. Engaging in the challenge requires job readiness skills such as teamwork, critical thinking, and multidimensional problem solving. This year's competition window is February 13th to March 17th with the theme, The Engineering Brain. The specific teams and format can be found on the National TSA website.
Now bringing greetings from National TSA, we are honored to have our very own National TSA President, Alexander King, joining us today. Please join me in giving him a warm Georgia TSA welcome to the stage.
Good evening, Georgia TSA. It feels great to be here with you all tonight. Once again, I am Alexander King, and it is an honor and pleasure to be serving as your 2018-2019 National TSA President. The National Officer Team and I are beyond excited for this school year and the resources that are available to you, the members of our association. Have any of you checked out the new TSA website? Yes. All right. And if you haven't, I really encourage you to do so. On our refreshed website, there is a tab labeled Resources. Under this tab, you can find templates, tips, and tricks on topics from a chapter meeting agenda to college and career interview tips, and so much more. There are so many exciting things happening in TSA this year, and it is an honor to be a part of your LeaderCon 2018. Hopefully you all enjoyed the Armada boat race and the various presentations that were offered today. During this conference, I encourage each of you to participate in the leadership and technical sessions that will be taking place throughout tomorrow. Lastly, be sure to post and take plenty of pictures using the Georgia TSA hashtag and the National TSA hashtag, #OneTSA. Best of luck to all competitors, and please, if you don't do anything else this weekend, please make connections with members from across the state. Feel free to locate me throughout the remainder of the weekend and ask me any questions. As I've always said and will continue to say, the sky is not the limit. You are. And you, members of Georgia TSA, each and every one of you are limitless. With that said, on behalf of the 2018-2019 National TSA Officer Team, it is my privilege to welcome you all to the 2018 Georgia TSA LeaderCon on the beautiful Jekyll Island. Have a great conference, Georgia TSA.
Don't forget to find Georgia TSA on our Facebook page and also our Instagram using @GeorgiaTSA and on our Twitter @GeorgiaTSA1. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Georgia TSA's YouTube page. Please tag Georgia TSA on your social media pages when you post pictures of all of your adventures here this weekend.
While we want you to enjoy all TSA has to offer this weekend, we also encourage you to take a part in TSA outside of our conferences. One way you can do so is by supporting our state and national service project, the Tommy Pitchford Scholarship and the American Cancer Society. The Tommy Pitchford Scholarship is awarded to a TSA member attending a college or university in Georgia and who is majoring in engineering or technology education. This $1,000 scholarship is designed to aid a deserving TSA member with an academic scholarship to help them maximize their opportunities of higher education. Any interested seniors should visit the Georgia TSA website for more information. The deadline for applying for the Tommy Pitchford Scholarship is February 15th. Cancer was once thought to be 100% fatal, but through innovative technology, doctors, and researchers, these cancers can be fought and even beaten. The American Cancer Society is a nationwide, community-based, voluntary health organization dedicated to eliminating cancer as a major health problem by preventing cancer, saving lives, and diminishing suffering through research, education, advocacy, and service. We encourage you to participate in TSA fundraisers and organize your own fundraisers to help raise money for this great cause.
Georgia TSA is the second largest state delegation in the nation. This strong membership would only be possible with many new members and advisors starting their TSA journey. They're building strong foundations based on our organization's mission to set up their school for a successful future. Today, we are proud to welcome new and revived TSA chapters from across the state to our organization. Many of these members are new to these chapters. When you hear your chapter name called, please stand to be recognized. Alliance Academy for Innovation, Bartow County College and Career Academy, C.A. Gray Junior High School, Calhoun High School, Denmark High School, Dauncey Faith Middle School, 8th Street Middle School, Fegan Mill Middle School, Greenville High School, Miller Grove Middle School, Morgan County High School, Northeast Middle School, Paul Duke Stem High School, Pierce County High School, River Trail Middle School, Sims Academy of Innovation and Technology, the Condesi School at Old Fourth Ward, and Willie J. Williams Middle School. We would also like to recognize a few chapters as White Star Award recipients. This is awarded to chapters who have raised their attendance in the current year by at least 10% or have started or mentored a new chapter in their growth this year. If your chapter's name is called, please send a representative to the right side of the stage from your chapter to receive an award. The White Star recipients are River Ridge High School, Mountain View High School, Houston County High School, and Fannin County High School. Congratulations again to all of our White Star chapters.
Three minutes and 58 seconds. That's how long it took Eddie Slakowski to run the mile. Whether it's being a gold medal winner for the USA track and field, a three-time NCAA All-American, or the world's most dynamic professional speaker, Eddie knows what it takes to be elite. Throughout all the accomplishments and medals, Eddie sought to enrich his life with service and empowerment for himself and others. Through month-long service projects in Central America and helping the homeless in the city of Chicago, Eddie widened his worldview beyond the life of sports. Now, a father of two, he proves that a successful balance of life and work can be attained. Mr. Slakowski channels that sense of accomplishment through interactive storytelling to audiences everywhere. He can make you laugh, cry, dance, and learn all in one presentation. Please give a warm Georgia TSA welcome to Mr. Eddie Slakowski.
Georgia TSA, how we doing? It is an honor to be back here with all of you. I was here a few years back and had an incredible time with this incredible association of many people coming together to help change the world. Georgia TSA is all about preparing its members to become successful leaders in a technological society, and that's what I know something about, is that leadership thing. So how do we channel that leadership? Well, let me tell you a little bit of how I figured some of this stuff out. I got to take it back to a day I'll never forget. February 22nd, 1980. Is the volume up?
I paid my dues.
There it is. Louder.
Time after time.
There we go. Me and my dad are sitting in the living room watching the U.S. Olympic hockey team taking on the Russians. Now, the Russians had won like the last 6 gold medals. The U.S. team had never won. The Russians were made up of a bunch of professional hockey players. Back then, the U.S. team, they were all college hockey players. But on this night, those Russians ran into a team that believed that we could actually win it all. And when the clock finally got down to 0, we beat those Russians 4-3!
Champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting.
Now, them winning the game is not what I remember most from that moment. What I remember most is my father's reaction when they won that game. See, my dad's a pretty quiet guy. And when they won that game, I'll never forget, he jumps out of his lazy boy chair. He starts screaming and cheering like he's at the stadium himself. He looks at me in the chair next to me and says, "Son, that's how you do it. That's how you go through life, son. You got to be the best. You got to be the best." Now, I was in 8th grade on that night when I heard those words, "You got to be the best." And I went into high school with that idea in my head. My father always on me about being the best. Now, you heard I was a runner, and my dad was always pushing me to be the best. Well, I ran cross country and track in high school, and it's pretty easy to determine who the best is, especially in the sport of cross country. At the end of every season, there's one guy, one girl, they're the state champion. That's how you know who the best is. So right before my sophomore year is when I had the goal of becoming the state champion. So I worked very hard to do this. And by the time I was a senior, I was considered one of the best in the state of Illinois. Me and about 5 other guys, any one of us could win the state championship on the right day. I won the conference meet. Then I won the regional meet. Then I got 3rd place at the sectional meet. That was good enough to qualify for the state meet. In fact, our whole team qualified that year. And what I want to do now is take you back to that day and tell you what happened in my quest to be the best. It was a November Saturday morning in the year 1984. When I awoke in my hotel room, the sun was shining through the window. And I'll never forget that feeling. Give me a little more volume, please. I'll never forget that feeling. Nervous, excited, and scared before competition like you guys may feel tomorrow. Biggest race of my life is a few hours away. So we met in the hotel lobby, had a little breakfast. Then we had to climb into the team van to drive a few miles to get to a place called Detweiler Park in Peoria, Illinois. As we're driving along, out of nowhere, the dark clouds came rolling in, and then it started to rain. The thunder crashed, and the rain was coming down like cats and dogs. Now, there was no lightning, so the race officials said, "Okay, boys, get warmed up. We're going to have the race regardless of the rain. It's not dangerous. There is no lightning." So we had to warm up in a downpour. Now we're on the starting line. Thousands of Illinois' best runners all lined up. Rain still coming down. Starter goes about 100 yards out in front of us with a big bullhorn in his hand and a starter pistol. He says, "Runners, take your mark." Boom! And all 1,000 runners take off at the same moment in the same direction. Now, if you want to do well in a race like this, if you want to win and be the best, you better get out fast. You better get out to the front, because it's almost impossible to weave your way to the front from the back. So I put my head down, raced through those raindrops, and before I knew it, I was out front with a pack of 5 other guys. Oh, it was all those guys. We all knew each other. We had the same goal that day to be the state champion. We all had the ability to be just that. Now, it's a 3-mile race. We're running together for that first mile. When we approached that 1-mile mark, I don't know what came over me. But a little voice inside my head said, "Eddie, it's time for you to take this. Do not sit back and wait today. This is your race. It's time for you to take it, and you have to take this race right now to be the best." So I remember I mustered up the courage, took a deep breath, and took off into the lead. Just started pushing the pace. Looked over my shoulder, had a 10-yard gap. Just kept pushing faster. Looked over my shoulder again, 20-yard gap. But I noticed one guy break away from the pack. He starts chasing me down. His name was Jim White from York High School in Elmhurst, Illinois. Now, you probably don't know this, but York High School in Elmhurst, Illinois has probably the greatest tradition of cross country in the history of our nation. He was my biggest rival since we were freshmen. He catches up to me. He and I are now running side by side. We're 50 yards ahead of everybody else. So now I know the state champion is going to be either me or him. As we approach that 2nd-mile mark, suddenly Jim White decided to put in a surge and take the lead. So I got right behind him, and I followed him. And I felt pretty good, and I bolted past him, and I felt him get right behind me, and he's following me. Now we're coming up to the finish line. We're 400 yards away. Jim White pulls up alongside of me. We're running neck and neck. Thousands of fans are on either side of us screaming their heads off. I remember thinking, "Eddie, it's time to sprint to the finish. Let's win this thing." So I took my gloves off. I whipped them into the crowd. I took off for home. But the exact moment I took off, Jim White took off too. And we kept running side by side toward that finish line. Till about 100 yards to go, Jim White got a step ahead of me. Then 2 steps, then 3. Oh, I did everything I could to try to close that gap. When we got to the finish line, Jim White finished first, and I got second. As I was walking to the finish line area, I remember feeling really disappointed because I didn't reach my goal, and I wasn't the best. I felt pretty down. Then I started to think about my dad. Oh, what's my dad gonna say? He's gonna be really upset because I wasn't the best, and I felt really dejected. I came out of the finish line area, and I look up, and the first person I see coming toward me off in the distance is my father. He's dodging in and out of people. He's knocking people out of his way, trying to get to me. He gets about 10 yards away. I can see the look on his face. His eyes are open wide. He's got this huge smile. I remember thinking, oh no, he didn't see the finish. He thinks I won. And he came up to me without a word. He just grabbed me, gave me the biggest hug of my life. When he let me go, I looked at him all dejected. I said, Dad, I got beat. I got second. He looked at me and he said, I know, I saw the whole thing. It's like, son, that was amazing. It's like, oh, I am so proud of you today. I am so proud because you know what you did? Today you did your best. And the words hit me. Your best. He went on to say, son, I know I've been on you about being the best. But all I've ever really wanted for you is for you to do the best that you can. Today, when you took off at the mile like that and you went for it, that showed courage and guts. And I could just tell you were doing everything you could to win. So what? Someone was a little bit better today. It's going to happen sometimes in life. But if you can learn to embrace the value of what you just did today and you apply that to all things in your life, son, you're going to do just fine. And on that day is when I learned about the essence of true leadership. Doing the best you can. Being the best version of you know how to be. That's part of what we're here to talk about today, is we're trying to develop and prepare you for an amazing life. Especially those of you in technology, which is everybody in here, engineering, technology, all the incredible things you're trying to do. It's going to take a certain type of effort and commitment and perseverance to be the very best version of you. But there are some things you can learn on how to be a great leader. And the first person you got to learn to lead most effectively is yourself. So that's where my area of expertise comes in. And that's what we're going to talk about. The strategies to help you lead your best life. All right, so I've been doing this for going on 26 years now. And what I've tried to do is study successful leaders and try to determine, all right, what are the common denominators they seem to have? And 2 things stick out. First and foremost, they are very good at relationships. They are good at creating connections, networking, bringing people together, making people feel like they matter, strong bonds with people. The second thing they do, they have in common, is passion. They have a lot of passion. They live their lives with passion. So what you're going to learn from my presentation is very interactive, which means you're not going to be sitting there the whole time. I'm going to have you do some things to illustrate some points, because all the research shows that when I get you physically involved in this presentation, I have you actually doing some things, you're going to retain 85% more of the information. And it's all about retention, because we want you to apply it to your life to start to see great results. So right now what we're going to do is create connection and then the energy of passion. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to put on a song. You're all going to recognize this song. You've all heard it before. Pretty popular song over the last few years. The moment the song comes on, you're going to notice something. They're clapping their hands to the beat of the song right at the beginning. That's your job. Your job is to do the same thing. Clap your hands to the beat, to the rhythm of the song. If everybody's doing this on beat, we're going to create a connection here with all Georgia TSA by clapping together on that rhythm. Once we get that established, we're going to stop clapping. I'm going to have you stand up, and we're going to do something that's going to create the energy of what passion can feel like. All right, so if you got anything in your hands or in your lap, get it out of the way, get it underneath your seat, give yourself some room to move. You're going to need that, because when the song comes on, I want you guys to clap your hands to the beat. Give me some good volume on this. Everybody ready? Georgia TSA, we ready? All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got it already. There it is. Feel that connection.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them.
All right, beautiful. Stop clapping. You've created a connection. Now I need you to stand up to create the energy. Everybody up.
Got Chuck's on with St.
All right, there was something I learned as a professional athlete called the body-mind connection that really gets you prepared for competition. Then I started to realize you could use the same thing in every aspect of your life to prepare yourself for what you got to do, to create that energy. So is there a way I can have you guys move that will energize you? Yes, it's called dancing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you guys 3 dance moves. You're going to watch what I do, then you're going to have your chance to do what I do. So you have to copy me. We're going to do 3 different moves. Move number 1 is called the pencil sharpener. It goes like this.
Don't believe me, just watch.
All right, now I need to see all of you doing this with me. Let's all do the pencil sharpener. Ready, go!
Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Hey, 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 oh!
All right, that's move number 1. Move number 2 is an oldie but a goodie. You've all seen this one. It's called the sprinkler.
Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. If we show up, we gon' show out. Smoother than a fresh drop skipping.
All right, now you can do any kind of sprinkler you want. Be creative, have some fun with it. Let's have everyone do something. 1, 2, 3, go.
Bitch, say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band about that money. Break it down.
All right, we got one more move. Move number 3. This one is the most complicated, so pay attention. This one is called the lawnmower.
Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot.
Don't believe me, just watch.
All right, you pull the cord 4 times, you push the mower, you wave to your neighbors. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, mow!
Don't believe me, just watch.
All right, now we're gonna take it from the top. Put all 3 moves together, back to back to back. If you're ready, let me hear you say yeah!
Before we leave, let me tell y'all a little something. Uptown, funk you up. 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 Come on, dance, jump on it.
Great job. Give yourselves a hand, Georgia TSA. Woo! Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you have more energy now, let me hear you say yeah. Woo! All right. That was fantastic. Okay. So I want you to notice the difference in the room right now, what you're feeling. You have the ability to set yourself up for success in life. Okay? You have the ability to be empowered. An empowered person who's living their best life. That's where great leadership comes from. Okay? So what is it that keeps us moving toward living our best life? Well, it's something I actually learned at the age of 5. I didn't realize I was learning it that young, but when I look back at my life, I realized the seeds were planted 5 years old at the very first movie I'd ever been to. Okay? I'm 51 years old. So this is in 1972 when I saw this movie. Now, although it came out that long ago, I believe it's a movie that probably everybody in here has seen. So we're going to find out. I'm going to play you a little audio clip from this movie. All I want you to do is listen and see if you recognize what movie this is from and see if you have seen it. All right, so everyone real quiet. Shh. Here comes a clip from this incredible movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the chocolate room.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Raise your hand if you've seen this movie. That's what I thought. This is the scene when Willy Wonka opens the door to the chocolate room. That's that room that everything in there was edible. You could eat everything in that room. That's the room that had the chocolate river flowing through the middle of it. Now remember, I was 5. Place was sold out. We had great seats. The screen was the biggest thing I'd ever seen to a 5-year-old. The color in that movie was amazing. I was mesmerized. And I'll never forget the moment when Willy Wonka said these words.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. count to 3.
To all of us.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Raise your hand if you remember this scene. Yeah. Now, guys, every time I hear this, I'm transported back to that little 5-year-old and what I was feeling in that moment. Something was happening. It was an amazing feeling I was experiencing. As I was 5, I couldn't articulate what it was. I know now what it was. Inspiration. Because what he was telling us is that everything you see in this incredible chocolate room, everything you see in this amazing factory, began as an idea in his imagination. Now, I tell this story to many different groups out there, but I find it most appropriate for this group right here. A group of potential inventors, a group of creative problem solvers, a group that's going to be all about changing the world through technology and engineering. That's going to take imagination, because all great things I believe that we end up accomplishing in our lives begin within us as an idea, a goal, a dream, a vision. I don't care what word you use, but we all have them. And a big part of what Georgia TSA wants you to do to channel your leadership is to dream big, to use that imagination, to be a creative problem solver, because only then are we going to find things and discover things that we have not yet. And that's a very powerful, powerful place to begin. Now, why is this so important, the idea of vision? Well, I'm going to tell you when I really began to learn more about it when I was a little bit older. So right now I'm going to take you back to when I was in high school. So we got to go back. We got to go way back. Way back to a magical time known as the 1980s. Yeah, the 1980s. I had just finished my freshman year in high school with straight C's. Thank you. As you heard, I was a very gifted runner. In my high school of almost 2,000 students, when I was a freshman, I was the second best runner in the whole high school. But after one season, I had a reputation and a nickname. Everybody called me Slack Man because I was the laziest kid on the team. Then summertime came. Summertime before sophomore year. Now, I don't know how it is in your house, but in my house, my father had a rule. You had to get a job. You could not sit around all summer watching the Cubs play baseball. You had to get a job. So I learned that summer that I was really good at getting jobs. I was just bad at keeping those jobs.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
I got fired from every job I had that summer. Fired at KFC, fired at Wendy's, fired at Burger King. I got a job as a dishwasher, and I got fired because they wouldn't let me wear my Walkman, if you remember what those things were. Then my dad got me a job, one of his buddies who had a company in town, and after 3 days of working there, my dad's buddy fired me. And after that firing, my father wanted to meet with me in his den. It was like a meeting with the Godfather. And I walk in, and my father looks at me and he says, "I understand you were fired today. Get in here, we gotta talk." And I thought, oh boy, I'm in big trouble. Here comes the screaming. My dad could scream, but he didn't. He sat me down, he said, "Son, remember that job I used to have in corporate America?" I said, "Yeah, used to talk about it quite a bit. You loved that job, didn't you?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." Did I ever tell you about my boss, my old boss who started the company that I used to work for? I said, "No, but I know he was like your hero, wasn't he?" He's like, "Yeah, he was." Well, sit down and listen to this story, because it's what's missing in your life, son. And he went on to say, "Son, my old boss's name was Ray, and Ray used to be a traveling salesman." I got to take you back to the year 1954. Ray had just turned 52 years old. He decided he wanted to sell something more exciting. He was a salesman selling paper goods. He wanted to make more money. On the market came a new item called the multi-mixer. It was a revolutionary new milkshake machine that people had never seen before. Ray thought this thing could be the thing. If he could sell it, he might reach his goal of becoming a millionaire. So he had to mortgage his home, spend his entire life savings to become the Midwest distributor of the multi-mixer. He began calling ice cream parlors, driving around to restaurants, anyone that might want to use a milkshake machine. 6 months into it, Ray was worried he's going to go bankrupt because nobody was buying. Then one day, Ray gets a call from San Bernardino, California, and a restaurant out there orders 8 multi-mixers. Biggest order Ray ever got. Ray says, do you have 8 restaurants? He said, no, we have 1. He's like, you want 8 of these for one place? I'm going to drive them to you personally. I live in Chicago. Give me about a week. I'll bring them to you personally. They said, okay, hurry up. He heads out there. Week later, gets to the address he's given, figures he must be lost because all he sees is a little restaurant sitting on a hill. He's thinking to himself, there's no way this little place wants 8 milkshake machines. He walks inside. He said, are you the gentleman that ordered these? They said, yes, you must be Ray. Get those in here. We want to use those today. Ray couldn't believe it. Brings them in, sets them up, shows them how they work. Says, you mind if I hang out here today and I'll help you guys out, give you the service you deserve? He said, hey, we'd appreciate that. So Ray steps back and they open their doors. And Ray is shocked at the incredible business this place is doing. Then Ray gets an idea. Think Willy Wonka here. He has a vision. He's able to envision and imagine this restaurant could be everywhere. He could see it. So he waits patiently all day until they finally close their doors at night. Ray goes up to the 2 guys that own the place, the family restaurants, 2 brothers. He says, guys, I want to make you an offer. Ray says, I will give you $1 million if you give me the rights to this restaurant here. Now, this is $1 million back in the 50s. They are shocked by this offer. Their first question to Ray is, wait a second, why do you want to do this? And Ray said, because I love what you have here. And I'm going to build one of these back in Chicago, where I'm from, and maybe in a few other spots. In order to do it the way I want to do it, gentlemen, I need to own it. $1 million is my offer. Well, the 2 brothers look at each other. They don't even hesitate. They put their hand out. $1 million? You have a deal. There's one major problem. Ray doesn't have $1 million. He says, guys, I have to go and get investors for this and get the capital to raise to make this happen. They said, how long is that going to take, Ray? He said, I have no idea. They said, well, this isn't going to work. Ray said, well, come on, let's team up. Give me a chance. Let me go see what I can do. Let me be part of the team. Let me see if I can open some of these restaurants. So they empower him to do that. And he does an incredible job with this. So much so that he's able to get enough investors and restaurants built that he is able to come back and buy them out. He says, gentlemen, I have your money. Are you ready to sign this deal? And they read over the contract. They said, before we sign this, Ray, we'd like to know something. What do you plan to call the place? He said, I love the name you gave it with one exception. Let's take the word brothers off the end of it. He said, we'd be honored by that. And they signed the deal. And on that day, a restaurant called McDonald's was born. Now, raise your hand if you've ever been to or heard of a place called McDonald's. Of course you have. All right. Now, what you don't know is that my father was the first director of manpower development for the McDonald's Corporation. He worked down the hall from Ray Kroc, the man who started the franchise. But when he finished telling me the story, he was standing so close to me, he had a huge smile on his face. He says, so son, do you understand what I'm telling the story for? And I looked at him and said, nope. He said, think about it, son. The McDonald's brothers created McDonald's, but all they could see was what they had. They couldn't see the potential of what they could become. It took this traveling salesman selling milkshake machines, sees the very first McDonald's, and realizes this could be everywhere. Son, this is what's missing in your life. I never hear you talk about the future. You're one of the best runners they've seen in a generation around here. Yet after one season, you have a nickname that embarrasses me when I hear them call you this, and you think it's funny, slack man, which means you're lazy. You just finished your freshman year with straight C's. I know you're smarter than that. You're just lazy. And now this summer, fired from 5 jobs, one of them one of my friends. Son, where do you think all these choices you're making are leading you? You're heading nowhere. You have to start thinking beyond where you are to where it is you want to be. And that's why on that day when my father left me, I had the goal and the vision and the dream of being the state champion in the state of Illinois. Now, I didn't reach it. But let me tell you why, in my estimation, having the goal, the dream, the vision is so important. When we can begin to imagine where it is we want to be, in that moment, we take from the subconscious level of thought to the conscious level of thought that we now believe that whatever that destination is possible. That belief in that moment triggers something in the present to begin to do something about it. It is a process. It is something you have to work towards. It is something you create. That's why Willy Wonka, at the age of 5, I didn't know why I felt so inspired, but something felt right. He was talking about begin to see this world in a new way. When we can begin to imagine these great things and these changes and these discoveries and these inventions and these awesome things that may be, who knows what can happen. I finished second. I didn't reach the dream, but I never considered that a failure. Don't ever look at anything you do as a failure. Imagine how empowering that is. It's a result. Might not be the result you want, but then you know what you have to do to go up from there, to learn from that, to adapt, to change, to improve. I was talking to an advisor today from Lambert TSA, Stephanie. Where are they at? Lambert, where you at? They're right over there. And she said that one of the things she wants her kids to learn more than anything is to help each other. Ask for help. Know that you can't do it alone. And I thought that was beautiful advice because I believe in that very much. You guys can't do it alone. One of the things you're going to have to do is assemble the people around you that believe in you. When you tell them this is your dream, they believe in you and they say, what can I do to help? And can you be that person for someone else when they come to you with an idea or a dream? What can I do to help? I believe in you. I support you. Because so much of what we do, the actions we take and the choices we make and the way we live stem from the way we think about ourselves, our perspective, our thoughts are playing a major role in what we do and what we don't do. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to ask you 3 questions right now. And they're 3 simple questions. All you have to do is answer yes or no. If you're going to answer yes, I don't want you to say yes. I want you to stand up. If you're going to answer no, don't say no. Just stay in your seat. Okay? Question number 1. How many people in here can sing? Let's see what kind of percentage we have standing up. That looks like about 25% of the room standing. All right, have a seat. Question number 2. How many people in here can draw? That's about 30%. All right, have a seat. And question number 3, how many people in here can dance? That's about half. All right, have a seat. All right, now let me ask you this. In any of those 3 questions I just gave you, did I ask whether you could do any of those 3 things well or good? What did I ask you? Can you do them? You were right. Can you do them? Are you capable? I just saw this whole room dancing like 20 minutes ago, and yet when I asked the question, only half of you stood up. So what happened there? Well, this same thing happened to me. So in my running career, here's what happened. After I finished second at state, I was offered some scholarships, and I chose a full-ride scholarship to Loyola University in Chicago. And there, by the time I was a senior, I'd become a 3-time Division I NCAA All-American, twice in track, 1 in cross country. And my senior year at Loyola, I ran the indoor mile in 3 minutes and 58 seconds. That ranked me as the #1 miler indoors that year for the United States. Thank you. And now my dream, my goal was I wanted to make the Olympic team. And so I was invited to a seminar for Olympic hopefuls, and there were a bunch of us athletes sitting in this auditorium. There was a speaker on stage. He was talking about goal setting. He was talking about confidence building. I've been around this stuff for a long time. So I'm sitting there, and he asked us the same 3 questions. He told us to stand if you're going to say yes. If you're going to say no, stay seated. Same thing I just did with you. So that happened to me. That's why I use it, because it had a profound effect on me. I was sitting there for question number 1. First question comes. This is interesting. What's he going to ask? All of a sudden he says, how many people in here can sing? Now when I heard that, I had one thought fire off in my brain. You suck at singing. And I did not stand up. Question 2, can you draw? My mind went blank. I just sat there. Never really got into art, so I didn't get up. Question 3, can you dance? Voice inside my head said, get up. I went, yeah. People have told me, wow, you're good at that. Where'd you learn to do that? And I've come to believe it about myself. Now it hit me like a thunderbolt at the end when he said, did I ask you if you could do these 3 things well or good? And the reason why that hit me so hard was because he didn't even say it. But that's what I heard. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to when it comes to leadership. The person you have to lead is you. To live your best life. To be at your best. So that requires awareness, mindfulness. What is that when that's happening? What are you doing? What are you contributing to? You're not some passenger in life that things are just happening to and you're just reacting to all the time. You are doing many things that's contributing to the experience of your life. When you start to understand that, you become empowered to say, okay, I want to navigate my life to where it is I want to be. Doesn't mean you can control it all. Don't get me wrong, I understand that. We don't control everything, nor should we try to control everything. But there are some things we do control. And when you become an empowered individual and you know what it is that you want to do, and you begin to imagine it and believe in it, it starts to trigger action, choices, and decisions that are going to lead you to that. But many times you are holding yourself back by your own fears, your own doubts, your own insecurities about things that happen that you didn't always feel that way. So you got to get a hold of that and understand, okay, is there any truth to some of those things that hold me back? My daughter reminded me of this. She's 14 now. Her name is Grace. When she was a little girl, like 5 years old, we used to have these tea parties all the time. You guys ever heard of the American Girl dolls? She owns like 5 of those things. So the tea parties would be me and her and all her dolls. And we'd actually make tea, and to this day, we both still love tea. I don't drink coffee, I drink tea. And she's a tea drinker too. But we always had these little tea parties, and she loved them. Well, we hadn't had one in a while. She was like 5 years old. And she came to me and said, Daddy, when can we have another tea party? I looked at my calendar. I said, hey, I got a speech in Chicago, near where I live. I live outside of Chicago, on Monday morning, and I'll be back before lunch. You get back from preschool at lunch. Let's do it. Lunchtime, tea party, Monday. She got so excited, she went to go set everything up. It was Saturday. So Monday comes, and I woke up that morning with the flu. I was sick. Now, this is the kind of job where there's really no sick days. If you're sick, you have to be really sick not to go do what you're hired to do. And in going on 26 years, I've only missed one speech due to illness, and that was food poisoning. There was no way I was speaking that day. But I've done presentations while being ill and I've gotten through them, and so I knew this was going to be one of those days. And so I went and got through it, and I came back home about a half hour before my daughter was due back from preschool. And I went to my wife. I said, honey, I am really tired and sick. I feel awful. I'm going to go upstairs and take a nap. I'm supposed to have a tea party with Grace. Please tell her I'll make it up to her, but I can't do it today. And have her be quiet when she gets home. So my wife said, no problem. Go upstairs. I'll take care of it. And so I get upstairs. I get into bed. I'm almost asleep when suddenly I can hear Grace is home. And she's running all over the house, making all kinds of noise, slamming doors. I'm thinking, why doesn't my wife tell her to be quiet? As I'm laying there, suddenly our bedroom door opens up and Grace peeks her head in like this, and I went, pretend like you're sleeping. Maybe she'll go away. Then I hear footsteps coming into the room. I'm thinking, don't open your eyes. She's going to want to have a tea party. Pretend like you're sleeping. Then the footsteps stop. I don't hear a thing. I start to worry. Uh-oh. What is she doing? I think I better check. So I open up my left eye like this, and her face is right here. And she's looking at me. She goes, Dada? I went, yeah. You don't feel good? No, I'm sick. Hold on, Dada. She jumps in the bed, pulls the covers up to my chin, and starts rubbing the top of my head. And she goes, you go to sleep, Dada. Just go to sleep. And it was such a sweet moment. It was great. I went right to sleep. But what she reminded me of is something that we all used to know. You know, before we're about 9 years old, we're called magical thinkers, where we really literally think the world revolves around us. And something that's amazing about those magical thinkers is they have a way of seeing themselves and living their life that is pretty precious and full of wonder and magic. And recently I had a chance. I was speaking at a high school, and they asked if I'd also go and talk to their elementary school kids. And I hadn't done that in a long time. I used to do it at the start of my career, but not much anymore. But I agreed to do it, and so they always have them on the gym floor. I had 200 first, second, and third graders sitting on the gym floor in front of me, and I'm doing some of my old stories I used to tell, and then it hit me. I'm going to try a little experiment with these little kids. I'm going to ask them those same 3 questions I just asked all of you. What did all 200 kids on that gym floor do on every question? They all stood up, that's right. You know why? They haven't learned yet how not to believe in themselves. Oh, it's coming. Life's coming. Life's coming for all of us. And here's the thing, you guys. Life is difficult at times, and life is sometimes about suffering and pain, and life sometimes is about disappointment. But sometimes you got to understand that some of those things that don't go your way can actually sometimes be the greatest teachers in your life. I look at two things I love about myself, my ability to connect with others and my compassionate heart. And when I ask myself, wow, I wonder how I got that, well, obviously my family's got a lot to do with it. But I also think it's the suffering that I've been through, the setbacks, the disappointments, the things that didn't go my way. That's actually built in me a stronger, more resilient person who is better connecting with others because now I understand maybe a little bit more of what this world goes through. And what we need are creative problem solvers like yourselves. We need people to be open-minded and tolerant of what we can be. We need to help each other discover what is beautiful about us. We need to bring out what is great, that the giftedness that each of us have, and to embrace that in each other. Not to ever make it feel like there's something wrong or that you're not good enough, because you are. And you have to believe that. You are good enough just as you are. And you've got gifts and abilities that only you can contribute to this world, and you have a voice that needs to be heard. There is no one else like you. And there's a reason for that. You have something to bring to this world that is uniquely yours, and that is you. Your life. Your dreams, your vision, your imagination. The power of what you can be. Helping people discover in themselves maybe things they didn't know they could. When you do that and you start to live your most authentic life and you start to listen to that magical voice inside of you that tells you, yes, you can, then you begin to go do things and create things and make things happen. In that moment, you become that leader that we're trying to prepare here. You become that role model that others need to see. So right now, what we're going to do is another little interactive exercise. I need you all to stand up and pick a partner, someone right by you. Don't make it difficult. Right by you, grab a partner. Once you have a partner or a group of three, here's what I want you to do. One of you's got to become person A. One of you's got to become person B. If you have three, the third person's person C. You decide who's who. All right, let me have all the A's in the house. Raise your hand. If you're an A, raise them up. A's, here's what you have to do. When you hear the music I'm about to play, you must instantaneously become the most energetic dancer in the whole wide world. All right, B's and C's, raise them up. B's and C's. When you hear the music, I want you to watch your partner A. And then you must do everything exactly the same way they're doing it. So when the music comes on, A's begin, B's and C's copy. If you're ready out there, let me hear you say, yeah! Here we go!
1, 2, 3, My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does she really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out the door?
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, now I want all the B's to take over. A's and C's have to copy the B's.
You will say that you will. Say that you love me, say that you need me, say that you want me, you wanna please me. Come on now, come on now, come on now.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything
a seat. Woo! That was awesome. All right. Let me explain why I had you do that. Did you know that what human beings tend to do when they look up to somebody, they have a role model or a personal hero, what they tend to do many times unconsciously, which means they're not fully aware of it, they tend to imitate those people. That is why it is very important to become consciously aware. Mindful is the big word today. Self-aware. Who are your heroes? Who are your role models? What are they teaching you about how to live your life? That's what's so incredible about what you can learn. That's what's so great about TSA and what they're trying to do. Through your competitions, you're going to get exposure to people who know what it takes to succeed in these areas, these fields of expertise that you want to be great at, and they're going to help you get there. Their lead, their modeling is going to show you, they're going to help you. And through your own experience of it, you're going to begin to understand what it takes to succeed. We also have many role models and heroes around us every day that are helping us lead us to better places. Like, think about why you're here right now. Can't do this without our advisors. Let's give all them a big hand right now. Without them, can't make this work. Yeah. And for me, Mr. Steve Price, your state advisor here from Georgia TSA, a good friend of mine, I wouldn't be here without him. Let's give him a big hand. Thank him very much. Great leadership. So there are people all around us we can learn from. And what these people help us do is help us discover things that maybe we haven't discovered yet. See something in us that maybe we haven't seen yet. And that helps us grow and become. Helping other people see what they can't see yet is enlightenment. And it takes people to a whole new place of discovery. Let me give you an example of what I mean. My son Jack is my oldest. He's 17. That's an old introduction because Gracie is 14, and I now have Adeline that is 14 months old. So I have 3 kids now. And one of my dreams before I ever had a family, and having a family was a dream that came true, having children is a dream that came true. You see, guys, dreams do sometimes come true. So believe in the possibility of them. But a simple dream I had before I ever had kids was one day I wanted to be the head coach of a Little League baseball team. I thought that would be a blast. I loved Little League baseball back when I played in the 70s. It was great memories of my childhood. And I really wanted to do that one day. Well, my son was born first. He's now 17. And this when he was a little kid. I told my neighbors about my dream. We had a really close-knit neighborhood, good friends. And one day I was out mowing the lawn. Jack was 6 years old. And my buddy Tom comes over. And he says, hey, you must be excited today. I said, why? He's like, today is sign-ups at the Park District for Little League Baseball. It's happening today. I go, yeah, so? It's like, I thought you wanted to be the head coach of a Little League team and coach your son. It's like, I do. It's like, well, today's where it starts. I go, yeah, but Jack is only 6 years old. He's like, that's where it begins. I said, what does? He said, T-ball. I said, it does? He's like, yeah, they're signing him up right now. I didn't even ask my son if he wanted to play. I just ran right down there and I signed him up. And the man behind the registration table said the magic words. He goes, sir, we got a few spots left open for head coaches. Would you like to be one? I was like, yes. It's like, yes, I would love to be a head coach. I go, but wait, what does that mean? What do you need from me? He's like, well, it's a 2-month commitment. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m., your team practices at Sunset Park. Every Saturday, we have our games between 8 and noon. We'll get you a schedule. Well, guys, like I've told you, this has been my job for going on 26 years now. It's the kind of job where you have no idea who might call tomorrow and say, hey, we'd love to have you at our school or for our conference or for our association or business. So you have to leave your days open. And I could not give up every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on my schedule. So I was heartbroken. I said to the man, I said, I would love to be a head coach. I just can't commit to all those days. But I still wanted to be part of it. So I said, can I be an assistant coach? And I'll help out as much as I can when I'm able to be there. They said, yes, we need people to do that too. That's awesome. We're going to put you and your son on the Orioles. Here's the information. Report to the head coach at the first game. He'll have a job for you as the assistant. I said, thanks. I go to the first game. I walk up to the head coach. I said, hey, my name's Eddie. I'm here to be your assistant. He's like, hey, yeah, I heard you were coming. Thanks for doing that. He's holding a scorebook in his hand. And he goes, do you know how to keep a scorebook? I said, yeah, I do. He's like, here, that'll be your job. I hear you can't be here for everything, but when you're able to be here, I want you to write out what our team does throughout the season. That way we can track their progress. I said, no problem. I'm glad to do it. So that was my job. And I was lucky. I missed only one game due to work. I missed a lot of the practices, but only one game. First game, the Orioles, we lose by 17. It was ugly. Second game, we lost by 15. Third game, we lost by 11. Fourth game was the game I missed. I came home, immediately went to my son, Jack. I said, Jack, how'd we do? He looked at me all sad. He said, we lost. I said, really? How bad was it? 19. I said, we lost by 19. He goes, yeah. And he goes, Dad, I don't like T-ball. I looked at him, I said, really? Why not? He goes, T-ball is boring. Now, if you've ever been to or played in a T-ball game, you know he's absolutely right. It is boring. I said, son, I know it's kind of slow, but you're just learning how to play the game. Don't worry, it gets better. He goes, yeah, but Dad, we never win. I said, son, you're 6 years old. It doesn't matter who wins. He goes, yes, it does. I go, don't worry, we're going to win. Next game, we lose by 17 again. Game after that, we lost by 7. Seventh game, we lost by only 3. We were so close. Now we're in the final game. We're the only team that hasn't won. But we're winning this game 20-12, and the other team's coming to bat for the last time. So it looks like we're finally going to win on the final game. Because here's the rules we have in T-ball. If you can't make 3 outs on a team before 9 batters bat, all you're allowed is 9 batters, or you could be there all day. As soon as the 9th batter hits the ball, too, all you got to do is pick up the ball, race it to home plate. They stop the inning right there. So typically the most runs you'll score in any inning under that format are 7. And we're winning 20-12. Well, just before the last at-bats begins, the head coach on the other team steps on the field, calls a timeout. Walks across the field to our dugout where I'm standing there with our head coach, gets in real close to us and speaking pretty softly, he says, guys, I need to ask you a favor. So we're pretty curious. We're like, yeah, what is it? He said, it just dawned on me that if we get to 9 batters this inning, our 9th batter scheduled to bat is Matthew. Now, everybody knew who Matthew was. Matthew was physically challenged, and he played the game with a walker that had wheels on it. And in our league, every kid plays no matter what, which I think is great. So when he plays out in his position, he takes his walker and his glove out there with him, and he does the best he can. And when he bats, he comes up to the batter's box with his walker. He hits the ball off the tee himself, but one of his teammates is standing there, and as soon as Matthew hits the ball, the teammate runs the bases for him. Well, the head coach asked us, if he gets up, since he's the last batter, would it be okay if after he hits the ball off the tee, could we allow him to get down to first base on his own? He's been doing this in practice lately. He's never got to do it in a game. Would that be okay? Well, think about it. What are we going to say? No. We're like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, if he gets up, we'll make sure that happens. He's like, thanks, guys. I just wanted to check. So he goes back. So now the umpire is getting impatient. He's like, all right, let's get this game going. So our coach has already put our 2 best guys in 2 key positions, pitcher's mound and third base. It's too late to move either of them, so I don't think Matthew's going to get a chance because these 2 guys are good, and that's basically where every kid hits the ball. Well, sure enough, they come to bat, and they're hitting the ball right at our 2 best guys. Now, these 2 guys both think they're the all-star. They're the best kid on the team, right? So as the ball's coming to them or near them, they both converge on it. Instead of picking up the ball, throwing it to first base to make the play, they literally start wrestling each other for the ball. And they're knocking each other over, and they're making error after error. Every ball's coming to the 2 of them, and they keep fighting, and every kid's getting safely to first base. So now the score is 20-17. Bases are loaded. Nobody's out. 9th batter's coming to bat. Remember my job. I have the scorebook. And as I look down at that scorebook, it dawns on me, if little Matthew can hit a grand slam, they're going to beat us by 1. So I quickly called our head coach over. I said, hey, coach. And he was really angry at our team. He was mad. He's taking it out on me. He goes, what? And I said, do you realize if this batter hits a grand slam, they're going to beat us by 1? Then he yells at me. He goes, I'm not concerned about that right now. He starts to walk away. I'm a grown man at a t-ball game. You don't get to yell at me. I said, Coach. And he goes, what? I said, come over here. He marches over. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, first I need you to calm down and listen. If this batter, look, and standing in the batter's box with his walker and his bat, waiting to bat, is little Matthew. If he hits a grand slam, they're going to beat us by 1. We want that to happen, don't we? And you can literally see the moment he sees what I see. He goes, oh, I'm sorry I yelled at you. You're absolutely right. Umpire, timeout. Team, get in here. Team huddles up. Head coach goes, okay, team, here's the plan. When little Matthew hits that ball off the tee, no matter where the ball goes in the field, don't touch it. If we don't touch the ball, we don't have to bring it to home plate, and this can allow Matthew to get around the bases. You got it? These are a bunch of 6-year-old little boys and girls. They don't even know what the score is. They're like, okay, bye, hey, They go back to their positions, and Matthew comes to bat. They place the ball on the tee. Matthew steadies himself with his walker, raises his bat, and swings. And misses. They take the ball off the tee, place it on again. Matthew swings again. He misses again. They take the ball off the tee. If he misses 3 times, he's out. They put the ball back on the tee. And this time, with everyone collectively holding their breath, Matthew swings the bat for a 3rd time. And he hits the ball about 20 feet down the first base line. Now our catcher, without thinking, jumps to his feet and starts running toward the ball. I'll never forget, I was so proud. Our head coach jumped on the field and went, stop! And the little boy stopped and then remembered what the plan was. Stepped back, and everybody is watching Matthew. As for the first time, he drops his bat, grabs hold of his walker, points it to first, and is about as fast as he could go, but on his own, very courageously, making his way down to first base for the first time. Now, by the time it takes Matthew to get down there, 1 run has scored, 2 runs, 3 runs. The game is tied at 20. Matthew reaches first base, and he's standing there smiling until he hears people start yelling to him saying, keep going, Matthew, come on, buddy, keep going. Because the ball's just sitting there, no one's touched it. So Matthew's eyes open wide, he grabs hold of his walker, he starts heading down to second. When Matthew is halfway down to second, I was so proud of my son, Jack. Jack hates baseball, right? He's playing second base. But Jack has always been such a compassionate human being. He just has always had that. And he's like this. He sees Matthew's coming right toward him. So my son stepped back and out of the way. And as Matthew went by, my son made a decision. He took his glove off, he dropped it to the dirt, and he started clapping for little Matthew. That one decision by my son triggered the whole team to follow his lead. And every kid in our team took their glove off and were cheering for Matthew. Now the adults, you can imagine, we're going crazy. We are being so loud that there are 3 other games going on in this baseball complex we have in our park district that parents are literally leaving their kids' game, walking over to see what's going on with the commotion. They're saying, what is happening here? We're like, look at second base. Because this is the moment I'll never forget. Matthew is now rounding second, heading for third. And his father was sitting in the stands over by third base. When his son came around second, I guess he could no longer contain his excitement because he jumped out of the stands. He literally ran up to the fence, climbed over the fence to get on the field as fast as he could, runs up to third base where the third base coach father just got out of the way. And Matthew's dad is standing there. You can clearly see the tears streaming down his face. But his voice is rising above everyone else's in that field as he is cheering for his son. He's going, come on, buddy. Yeah, come on, keep coming. You look great. Matthew gets to third. His dad is screaming in his ear, go home and win the game. You got it, buddy. Go win the game. Now, Matthew wasn't crying. He was beaming. He started heading for home. And I'll never forget the sight of his father right behind him, just cheering him all the way in. When Matthew got to home plate, as you can imagine, his whole team was out there waiting for him. And when he stepped on that plate, they all mobbed him in a huge team hug. And the best thing happened. Our kids were so excited. All our kids ran over like, yay, Matthew! All of our kids converged upon Matthew. And all these kids from both teams are high-fiving him, hugging him, patting him on the back. He's just trying to stand there, and he's just beaming with joy. And I'm over by the dugout. I had to put the final score in the scorebook, 21-20. Yeah, by the numbers, we just lost again. But look at that celebration on that field. You tell me who lost. And I looked around, all the adults crying, hugging each other, cheering. Kids all still cheering Matthew. He's just beaming with joy. And I realized this was something very special I never wanted to forget. I'm saying to myself, hey, take it in. This is incredible. Then I began to think about what had to happen for that to have been possible that day. It all kind of hit me. The score is 20-12. The only way that team wins that game under the rules that we have is all 9 not only have to get on base, they all have to score. That means if we make even 1 out with our 2 best guys, if they're not wrestling each other and screwing up on every play, then the numbers won't add up. Even 1 out won't make it happen. It also meant that Matthew had to be in the exact position to be the hero that day, which he was. And then I thought back to the day I signed my son up. My dream to be a head coach of a Little League baseball team. That's a dream that's still yet to come true. I don't know, maybe with my daughter Addie, we'll see. But I couldn't be the head coach. The dream couldn't happen. You know, you guys, you're gonna have a plan for your life, and that's awesome, and you should. And you should dream big, but also be open to the idea that life's gonna have a plan for you. So your job is to lead yourself as effectively as you can, to be authentically you, and to know that your gifts are here to help make this world better. You have to share them. But I couldn't be the head coach. Still wanted to be a part of it. Can I be the assistant? Yes. And they gave me the scorebook, you guys. I had the scorebook on that fateful Saturday morning, and now think of Willy Wonka here. I was able to see the possibility of what could be, and I said something to our coach, our leader. Then he could see it. Then he brought the kids in and had them understand it, and then it was created. The moment happened. You guys hold the scorebook for our future. Think about how you want this world to be. Think about the difference you want to make. Think about the power you have to make this world better. Think about the imagination and the dreaming and the vision that you have within you and where it can take us. Don't ever limit yourself by thinking you're not good enough. To channel your leadership means to be the very best version of you know how to be each and every day. I know that's easy to say and it's hard to do, but if you are mindful of it, if you are striving to become it, each day new things are going to come your way, and you're going to find opportunities, and doors are going to open, and situations are going to be there, and suddenly you're going to plug yourself into it, and who knows where it's going to take us from there. You have the power to change this world and to make it better. And I love being a part of Georgia TSA because that's exactly what they're trying to help you do. So the last thing I want to do is show you something I learned how to do by imitating others. I had you guys get up and copy each other while you were dancing. So I thought it'd be fun to show you. That's how I learned how to dance, was simply copying other people. People always ask me, wow, Eddie, where'd you learn to do that? I never took a dance lesson. All I ever did was just watch other people dance and imitate what I saw. So I thought it'd be fun to end our time in here with the real fun, energetic way by showing you some of the many ways I've learned how to dance. First, do you want to see a 51-year-old man from Chicago dance in front of you? I don't know, that's not good enough. Do you really want to see it? Okay. All right. So this is how I'm going to end. So what I do is I start out as my all-time favorite dancer. Then I do a bunch of dances I've learned throughout my life. So the advisors are going to enjoy this too, because we're talking the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. The last couple of minutes are dedicated to dances that your generation's been doing. So I will do my best with that. You have some strange dances. If I could be of service to any one of you, and if you ever need help with something that maybe I might be able to help with, don't ever hesitate to find me and ask me. You can find me on all the social media platforms at Eddie Speak. EDDIESPEAK. Eddie Speak. Say Eddie Speak. That's where you'll find me. I've got Instagram, I've got Snapchat, I've got Twitter, I've got YouTube, I've got Facebook. My daughter's got me on Musical.ly. I have no idea why, but I'm on there too. So, oh, there you go. Hey, with that 358, forget that one. That's an old one. Yeah, it's just Eddie speak, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. And if you ever need a speaker at your school, I love Georgia. This is one of my favorite states in the whole United States. I love coming to Georgia. Beautiful place. Jekyll Island, awesome. All right, so to start out the right way, after getting the costume to be an all-time favorite dancer, what I need from you guys is your spirit and your energy and your passion. So if you hear a song you like, you see a dance you like, get into it. The louder you are, the better this is. Is everybody ready? Are we ready? All right, we got the music on nice and loud. Here we go.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
Get up off of that thing and dance to you better. Get up off of that thing and dance to you. Sing it now. It's electric.
So sexy, it hurts. Let me see you just bounce it with me, just bounce with me, just bounce it with me. Come on, let me see you just slide with me, just slide with me, just slide with me. Come on. Hip hop parade! Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. The window, wow. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey, hey, Mickey.
Everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands. All right, now, we're going to do the basic step. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Cha-cha, real smooth.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Feel the rhythm of the music getting stronger. Don't you fight it till you try to do that conga beat. Now I gotta cut loose, pull loose. Kick off the Sunday shoes. Please, Louise, pull me off of my lead. Oh, 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 oh.
like smooth.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick, now kick, now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself.
Every day I'm shuffling. Open Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Open Gangnam Style.
What the fuck, say?
Now watch me whip, hey. Now watch me nay nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, whip. Watch me nay nay. Why me do? Hit the quad, hit the quad, hit the quad. I've been watching. At night, I think of you.
Juju on that beat, juju on that beat, juju on that, juju on that, juju on that beat. Now slide, chop, hit them for no stop.
Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you, and I'm down for you always.
Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh!
Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Mr. Slokowski, for an outstanding keynote. Please join me in giving him another round of applause. Now we would like to invite Rains Evans and Keishan Patel to review the Code of Conduct.
As we all know, Georgia TSA has become well known over the years for maintaining a businesslike and professional behavior at all of our conferences. I trust that this will continue for this conference and that every school in attendance this weekend will help see that TSA continues that reputation.
Please keep that in mind that these rules will be strictly enforced and if violated will result in immediate termination from the conference.
Conduct yourselves appropriately throughout the conference. And remember to wear your name tag when you are in the conference center. Make sure to attend all sessions.
Gambling is strictly prohibited at this conference. No smoking or usage of any tobacco products for the duration of the conference. You are not to consume or have in your possession any alcoholic beverages or non-prescription drugs. Please no beverages in any of the sessions either.
Refrain from roughhousing. Violation of this will result in the dismissal of your chapter from this conference. If you damage any property, you will pay for it. Female rooms are off limits to males, and males' rooms are off limits to females. Please be in your room by curfew each night.
Once again, let's work together to keep Georgia TSA's great reputation intact. We would now like to invite Mr. Steve Price to the stage.
Good job, guys. Woo, goodness. Georgia TSA, how do you feel? All right, guys, this has been an awesome night, hasn't it? Thanks for being here for LeaderCon 2018. We've been able to pull off a conference without a hurricane. Yes. And by the way, I brought all those rain ponchos here in the box, so that's what's kept the weather away. So I'm proud of that, but it still works. Anyway, but I tell you this much, Eddie said something and it caught my attention, and I hope you caught it too. Think about this conference. Just take this one conference, not to mention the other 3 that we put on throughout the year. And look at the national conference we just pulled off in Atlanta with the 3rd highest attendance in the history of TSA in downtown Atlanta. People kept telling me how great the Georgia people were. They were blown away by the fact that the people that live here and the people that are in Georgia TSA were going out of their way to help people. How that is odd to other people, I don't get it. But we're proud we pulled that one off. But Eddie said these 4 words, or 5, you can't do it alone. I want you to look at that program, folks. If you guys didn't take advantage of the 9 presentations that were put on today, you missed something. You missed an opportunity. We have 35 presentations being put on by people who are volunteers, individual students like yourselves, chapters, chapter advisors, business and industry people are here. We're talking about colleges. You'll get a chance to talk to 10 colleges tomorrow out there in the front. Guys, this doesn't happen by Steve Price picking up my magic pen here and saying, okay, let's just do this. It's filled in by you guys. We are great because of you. We are great as an organization, and I want to thank you. Guys, thank you. I constantly, and this is one of the things that I really have made my whole summer, about how people are bragging about us. I brag about you guys constantly. I rub it in as much as I can. But one thing I definitely want to get straight is I heard somebody call Georgia TSA number 2 in the country. Let me tell you something right now. Georgia TSA was number 2 in the number of middle school chapters. We were number 2 with the number of high school chapters, but Georgia TSA was number 1 with the most chapters in the country. And one more thing, and this has just caught my attention. Ms. Quarles, if you ever met Angie Quarles from Pickens County. Angie, where are you? There she is, Blondie over there. Angie has been around, I'm going to really date myself, but my kids at Point South Junior High competed against her when she was in the 7th grade. And we beat them. But anyway, be that as it may. The deal is Angie was pointing out, and I've been around for a long time, but this is the 30th conference we've had at Jekyll Island for the Fall Leadership Conference. This is the 30th, and I believe so far the best. All right, so one thing I want to make sure, I got a couple of announcements to make. First of all, before I go into the rest of this and finish up, make sure you send one student after this is over to pick up your Tech Day projects. Now, I sent an email out to everybody telling them who I was and what I'm going to bring. By the way, I was hating on you people for having to load that van with those chairs and stuff. But nevertheless, they're here and mostly in one piece. All right, but anyway, they'll be in the lobby on the left after this session. Now, for your safety at this conference and to enforce the curfew and the name badge thing, please make sure you got your name badges on when you're here for your safety. That we actually are pleased to have back the troopers of Georgia State Patrol, Post 35, under the command of David. Well, no, it's actually, oh, good grief, it's, got his name. I got Eddie's name stuck in my mind and I can't get past it. But anyway, Rodney Rozier. Yes, the brain cell still works. That hurt. Anyway, but under those people have actually come to our rescue when people came us for a window getting broke after a hurricane a couple of years back. They actually take care of you too, not to just make sure you guys are in your rooms. But they will be patrolling the island. Every hotel will be patrolled by state patrolmen. Guys, these are actual policemen. Don't play, okay? Stay in those rooms. Trolleys for the conference tomorrow will begin running from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and noon from to 11:30. They will not run between 10 a.m. and noon. The trolleys do not run during the sessions and will run to Villas by the Sea for the dance and back to the hotels tomorrow night. Again, we have South Carolina TSA joining us at the Fall Leadership Conference. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys bring back a lot more chapters next year. We're neighbors, why not, right? You're not far from here. So let's see, at this time I would like to invite the South Carolina Executive Director, Ms. Tammy Vaught, and she's got a couple of words she wants to share with us. Thank you, Georgia TSA. Tell them about BJ where he is now.
Okay. Well, thank you, Georgia TSA, for such a wonderful welcome. Many of you know that I'm not the same person who stood here last year. Mr. BJ Scott has moved to the state of Virginia. We consider that a defection from the state of South Carolina. He is now the state director up there. He is also the president of the board of directors for TSA. So I still get to see him and give him a hard time. I want to thank you for such wonderful hospitality. This has been an awesome conference. I am brand new at this, but I guarantee you that we're going to go home and maybe next year we'll be inviting you to come join us at our first LeaderCon that we can share with the state of South Carolina. And we definitely will be back next year. Thank you.
Now, before we go to a commercial break, we have a few quick announcements. Chapter presidents and chapter advisors are reminded to be at the conference center at 7:30 a.m. for your respective breakfast. State conference managers and coordinators will have a brief meeting at the conclusion of the advisors' breakfast regarding event planning. Don't forget that Georgia TSA is providing your box lunches tomorrow. Make sure you have a lunch ticket. They will be taken up at the entrance of the pickup line.
Have a great night, enjoy some quality time with your chapter, and make sure to be and ready to go tomorrow. I now declare this meeting in recess.